This is Pop Culture Yearbook. On this show, we pick pieces of pop culture that were important to us in a given year. We then discuss our memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. I'm Brad.
And I'm Jeff.
Ooh, extra long, filling in that gap there.
Filling in that gap in there.
Filling in that gap. All right. So yeah, it's the two of us. We're here. We're here for a new month. And that means what?
We are going to open the yearbook to another special segment.
We love these special segments.
For the month of December, we're going to have a little bit of a grab bag here. We're going to do some in memoriam as well as
this year.
We did, as well as cover a movie or two along the way as we get closer to
Christmas. TV specials. Like our Christmas episode will be TV centric and nostalgic for the childhood memories.
Oh, they're the best.
But yeah, there's a movie too.
Yep.
And we'll talk about lots of movies in the next 3 weeks here. So in our second season, Pete, who's not here, had the idea of doing an in memoriam at the end of the year where, like they do on the Oscars, and we look back at who died during the year and then pick something that we would cover that we loved that they were part of.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. We're going to do that again, but a little differently this time. So we had some, like I said, some real titans die this year. There was a lot of people, obviously, that die every year, but 3 people came like right up to our mind. Gene Hackman, Diane Keaton, and Robert Redford. That's like a murderer's row right there.
It is.
It is. And they did so many movies, and they were so great, and we loved them in so many things that we didn't want to just pick one movie. And so we're going to switch it up. We're going to do kind of just a retrospective of their entire body of work while talking about some movies. We each watched a few movies along the way as well.
Yep.
And so we'll hit on some of those that we loved and remember, and ones we just rewatched as well. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yes, sir.
So tonight
we'll do a damn
is
good job of it.
Hackman. What a way to start. And man, this was really fun looking back at Gene Hackman because, I always think of him more as like, not necessarily the leading man, but he's in so many movies, and his career spanned decades and different types of movies at different times. And he was in a lot of big things and nominated for Oscars before we ever even knew who he was. But then he had like big moments. Like when we were in high school, this guy was everywhere.
He was huge. Yeah.
He was huge in the 90s.
Yep.
So when I think of Gene Hackman, immediately the first thing I think of is Hoosiers. That was the first movie I saw him in or that I knew of him in. I remember going to see that movie. Actually, we'll probably talk about it when we get there. We're going to kind of go through and we'll talk about it as we go. But I remember going to see that when I saw it for the first time in the movie theater. And of course, we'll talk about another reason why we love it probably is because we could really personally connect to that movie in a major way.
Small town.
But even just the timing, like we'll talk about the timing of when this came out compared to stuff that we lived through. So that was the movie that, I love the movie anyway, but then it made me think, wow, this Gene Hackman guy, he's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one that was really big for me at that same time that I kind of just rewatched a few months ago was Mississippi Burning. And I love that movie. He was so great in that movie. And so those were kind of the 2 movies that kind of set me up for who he was. And then, as I said, we'll get to more. But when we got into high school, this guy became even bigger with tons of movies in the 90s.
Yeah.
When did you first discover him?
Well, I was thinking about the first thing I would have seen him in was on television for a showing of Superman. And of course came out in 1978, so I probably watched Superman when I was, 5, 6 or something like that. And of course he played Lex Luthor in that. And, he's the greatest criminal mind of his time. He's a genius. But in this role, he was pure evil, but at the same time, very doofy and a little more approachable. And, the stuff with Beatty and his, female assistant or mistress or whatever, there was a lot of funny humor in that. And, obviously wasn't very scary to a young child as myself. So yeah, that was the first thing that I remember seeing him in. But, for me, I didn't know him as, an Oscar winner. I didn't know him as, the French Connection guy from 1971. I still haven't seen the French Connection. Should probably go back and watch it.
Yeah.
But then after that, like you say, you get into Hoosiers, and that's really, the big body of work. I mean, how many times have you seen Hoosiers in your life, right?
A lot.
And, for us growing up in, small towns, not as small as Hickory, but, basketball being such a major. Yeah, those were pretty small classes, though. Those are, single schoolhouse, but it connected with us. Farming community, small town, a lot of pride in your basketball team. So that touched a chord for sure.
Yeah, and you brought up the comedy part because so I knew him from Hoosiers, Mississippi Burning. He's a very serious actor to me. But then you realize the guy can do comedy too. And so one of the movies I watched just recently again was Young Frankenstein. So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But he's really funny. And we all actually, it was in our in memoriam.
It was in our in memoriam for Ray Liotta.
For Ray Liotta.
That was my pick. We did Heartbreakers. And he was phenomenal in that.
He was hilarious in that movie. Even though the movie, if you go back and listen, it didn't really hold up too well for me.
No.
As I used to love that movie, and it didn't hit me that way anymore. But he is hilarious. His role is awesome, and the guy is funny.
Yeah, very much so. Just hacking his way through that whole movie as a Hackman hacking his way, as the smoker. It was just great. And again, one of the greatest gags in movie history is the mouth-to-mouth scene where she comes up after giving him mouth-to-mouth and she exhales smoke. It's so great. But yeah, and later in his career, he did turn to more comedic roles and lighter roles.
And his very last movie was Welcome to Mooseport, which I never did watch. Which I never Ray Romano, which, I kind of thought I think it got pretty bad reviews. But, those two guys I thought might be pretty funny, but I never did watch it.
I've seen, scenes. There was a scene on a tee box on a golf course. A lot of slapstick, very funny scene in that. So, but I have not watched the movie. So,
all right. So let's go back and forth with a few things that we might have learned about him or already knew. But you mentioned some Oscars. So Gene Hackman, not Ray Liotta. Gene Hackman was nominated for 5 Oscars. Nominated for Bonnie and Clyde. I Never Sang for My Father, so I don't know anything about
My
that
Dinner.
one.
Was it My Dinner?
I thought it was Father. I typed up Father. Mississippi Burning.
Yep.
And then he won 2 Oscars, one for The French Connection and one for Unforgiven, which again came out when we were seniors in high school. Or juniors, maybe.
Juniors, yeah, I think.
Yeah. He lied about his age to join the Marines, and he served 4.5 years in the Marines. So, and we'll get to he kind of seemed to get a late start in acting, and maybe that's part of it right there.
Why? Well, the fact that he joined at the age of 16, so when he got out, he was probably 21.
I guess he's pretty young still, yeah.
Yeah, think about this poor kid's upbringing. He, his dad left when he was 13. And then a few years after he got out of the service, his mom died in a house fire that she accidentally set by smoking.
Yikes.
And so, that's a tough way to lose your parents, of course. So yeah, he did get a little bit of a late start. He grew up Midwestern guy, and after he got out of the service, he moved out to California and entered the Pasadena Playhouse.
Yes, with Dustin Hoffman. And the funny thing about this is, these are 2 of the greatest actors, of our lifetime. They were voted the least likely to succeed in the Pasadena Playhouse cast of characters there. So,
right,
not very prescient of the voters in that one.
Right. And so, he left there. He got the lowest grade to that point ever for the Playhouse. Him and Dustin headed over to New York, and along with Robert Duvall, the 3 of them kind of were roommates on and off. 2 of them were together, then the other 2 would, so they kind of moved around a bit being roommates. So good Lord, talk about some heavy hitters there. And then he just kind of got into some off-Broadway stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stage acting.
One of the things that I loved was that when he was in New York, of course, he was, working in the service industry. And one of the professors from the Playhouse saw him and basically said, well, yeah, obviously we were right with our assessment of you. You're not going to amount to anything. And then he also ran into one of the people that he served under in the Marines, and they said, well, yeah, you're obviously never going to make anything of yourself. And he took that to heart. And, he said that was one of the things he always felt like it was him against the world. And that was also something that he kind of cherished. You needed the fight. It wasn't supposed to be easy to break into this industry.
That you say that, not related to acting at all, but speaking of fighting and being looked down upon and everything. So he was a proud Democrat, and he was on Nixon's enemies list, and he was very proud of the fact that he was one of Nixon's enemies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ties right into that. Yeah. That's what I read anyway.
Fun little nugget there. You'd mentioned that him and Hoffman were voted least likely to succeed out of that class. And you also mentioned that he was nominated for an Oscar in Mississippi Burning in 1988. Do you happen to know who won the Oscar that year in 1988?
Well, that would be Dustin Hoffman for Rain Man, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So the two guys least likely to succeed were battling it out in 88 for an Oscar.
But I guess, was Gene Hackman up for Best Supporting Actor, though?
Was it... I believe that was supporting actor, but he did, and I think Cruise was the main actor, and Hoffman was the supporting actor in Rain Man.
Oh, well, I thought Dustin Hoffman won Best Supporting or Best Actor.
Oh, I could be wrong.
I don't know. I had to double check. I thought I would have guessed Hackman maybe was the supporting actor in Mississippi Burning, but I figured Hoffman was Best Actor for Rain Man.
Let's see here. I will look it up.
Okay. So we'll get into his movies here, unless you have more things to say. But he did a lot of acting. He did a lot of stage acting. Obviously had a slow start and people were against him. So he didn't have his first credit until 1961. And he was actually 31 years old at that time. So
yep.
Pretty old, I would think, by actors' standards to get your first credit. And then to go on and do the things that he did. So yeah, 1961 is when he broke through with a small part in a movie.
And that movie was Lilith, starring Warren Beatty and Peter Fonda. So in '64, his first movie credit, and then 3 years later, again alongside Warren Beatty, he gets his first Oscar nomination in Bonnie and Clyde, playing the brother Buck Barrow.
So one more thing before we get to Bonnie and Clyde. He was also hired to play the dad in The Graduate. Dustin Hoffman's dad, actually, which is funny again.
Yep.
But he was fired after 3 weeks for being too young, which, you'd think, they must have been around the same age, or at least close, you'd think. It seemed like a weird casting when I read that in the first place. But he could have played his friend's dad in The Graduate, which would have been even something else then.
Right.
Did you find out the answer, Gifford?
I might be on the wrong year. I got to look at
You look like you're working really hard there.
I'm working hard. Please keep rolling.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with Bonnie and Clyde in 1967. So I did, when we got Netflix discs, when that whole thing came out, I went back and I got a lot of old movies and started to verse myself in some old movies. And Bonnie and Clyde's one that I watched and I loved it. But I don't remember Gene Hackman being in it. Now, it's been 20 years probably since I watched it. Or more, but I didn't even know he was in it. I just think of Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, and so I guess it's one I might want to watch again and see what he played and what he looked like and why he won or was up for an Oscar for that. That sounds pretty cool.
Right. I do have your answer. Okay. Hoffman and Hackman were both up for Best Actor.
Oh, Hackman was too. Okay. Yep. So all that time could have been spent if I just kept my mouth shut.
And do you want fun little side fact here because
who else was up for it then?
Well, the other guys who were up for it, Tom Hanks in Big.
Nice.
Edward James Olmos, Stand and Deliver. And Max Van Snow? Sydow for something out of Pell the Conqueror. But
you know who he is. He was in Flash Gordon. We talked about him.
Yeah.
He was like the one, legitimate guy in Flash Gordon playing that. What was his name? I can't remember the name,
but I did want to say that the best supporting actor that year, Kevin Kline, Fish Called Wanda.
Fish Called Wanda, baby.
Yeah. So I just wanted
we've got episodes on so many of these things we just mentioned.
Exactly. So I wanted to throw that out there for you.
But that was a heck of a Best Actor list there, too.
That is. Well, and they normally are, right? Like, I mean, holy crap, these are amazing.
You get some weird years, though, but you get Hackman and Hoffman and I already forgot who else he said, but Edward J. Olmos was
Tom
very
Hanks.
memorable. Tom Hanks, there you go.
And Big.
Breaking through for Big.
Yep. Yeah, amazing.
Okay, so did you ever see Bonnie and Clyde?
I did not. No.
Okay. So you have nothing to add then.
I have nothing more to say to you.
We should rewatch that together.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then he got nominated for another Oscar, or won an Oscar in 1971 for The French Connection. And I've never seen this movie, so I have really nothing to say about it. But I'll turn it over to you because usually you have something prepared.
I have nothing prepared other than, like I already told you, that I did not watch that movie. But that was his, his big breakthrough because now he's won the Oscar. So I mean, he had. Listen to the run he had here. He nominated in 1967, nominated in 1970, won in 1971. He was
then
also
until 1988.
What's that?
Then he wasn't up until 1988.
Well, no, but if you add in the Golden Globes, nominated in 1974, 1975, 1983, 1985. Like, this guy was up for everything, these major acting awards. It's a major award.
It's a major award.
And, I mean, he just had this phenomenal run. And then you get back to Mississippi Burning in 1988, and then, the Unforgiven in 1992. It's just unreal. And in all of this, Hoosiers nowhere in the conversation for these,
No.
and that's our movie, right? Like,
exactly.
that's our Hackman movie.
All right. Have you seen the Poseidon Adventure? So the 1970s was big for the big disaster movies.
Right. I know a boat goes upside down.
Okay. Yeah, I've not seen it either, but that's a big one. We've all heard of that one. This
Well,
is
it's
a great
been
detail you
remade.
get from Pop Culture Yearbook, everybody.
Buckle up.
Okay, but now we're getting into some bigger ones. So 1974, you mentioned, that was a big year for him. So I actually always thought he was nominated for The Conversation because I've heard a lot about that movie. And I haven't seen that one either. That's one I kind of wanted to watch, but I don't have time to watch all these movies. But that's a Francis Ford Coppola movie that was nominated for 3 Oscars. And so that must be just why I thought he was up for it, because it was nominated for several Oscars. So he did that in 74. And then he was in Young Frankenstein, which was also nominated for 2 Oscars. So 2 Oscar nominated movies. So I've seen Young Frankenstein before, and I just watched it like a week ago. So I had fun watching that. In Young Frankenstein, he's basically, the way I remembered it, it was a little bigger role. It's basically a cameo.
Right.
But it's a really funny role as a blind man. And I wanted to watch him in a comedic role, and I wanted to see this movie again because I haven't seen it too many times, but it's one of my wife's favorite movies. So when I met her, she talked about this all the time. This is the movie that he really wanted to be in and offered to do it for very cheap. I kept reading about his last line in the movie, which he ad-libbed. So as Frankenstein is running away, he yells at him, "I was going to make espresso."
Yes.
And everybody just laughed and loved that so much that they kept it in there. I don't really get why that line's that funny. It didn't hit me. Like, he was great. He was funny in this role. But that line, I kind of what? I didn't really get it. So I'm missing something there.
I'm not a coffee drinker or espresso. Would that be extremely hard for a blind person to make?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah.
But anyway, Mel Brooks and the people around loved that, and they left that in there and thought that was just hilarious. Almost all his other lines that he has in this role are hilarious. My favorite line, because of course he can't see it's not Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein's monster. He can't see him. He says, "Oh, you must have been tallest in your class."
Yes.
And just the way he delivers that's hilarious. I do think that his role in this movie is one of the best parts. He plays it so straight, but he's smiling a lot. Like, I don't know, it's just watching me. It looks like he's having fun. He wanted to do this movie. He's smiling a ton. And he just nails it. I love to see, it's kind of like we talked about the line just 2 weeks ago, Jason Segel in How I Met Your Mother, where he's talking about the affliction that he has of night eating. And he says it's a delicious disease, and he's laughing as he says it. I love that. I love it when you're not necessarily breaking the wall and you're not necessarily breaking character, but you're adding it to your character. And I think that's what Gene Hackman did here, and it was fantastic.
Right. Well, and I think one of the most famous people we would say does that is Seinfeld. Seinfeld smiling through most of his lines, which made it funnier because
I don't think so.
Right? And you want to be
my latex salesman.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. And this was his first shot at a comedic role in the movies.
Yeah.
And
you nailed it. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely out of type.
So you've seen this movie, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a good movie, but it was interesting because, you think of some of the zany Mel Brooks movies and it's funny, but it plays it so straight to like the traditional story that it's really kind of slow. And like, there's parts that like, it's maybe not what you expect. And I like it a lot, but I kind of start to get a little bit anxious towards the end with it. And like, so I love like when he drops in because that kind of adds something new, but then he leaves again right away. It's not like Spaceballs where it's just this zany spoof beginning to end.
Yeah, constant. Yep.
But it makes it a good movie. Like it's really, really well done, and it's got Terry Garr in it looking all smoking hot.
Any of those slow parts, any of those slow parts, you just look at Terry Garr for a while. It's all right.
That's right. All right, so Young Frankenstein, well done, got him into comedy. And now we move on, and he was in 2 Superman movies from 1978 and 1980. And I'll turn those over to you because I'm gonna say something here that's gonna probably shock you. I've never seen either. I've never seen Superman.
I just rewatched it a couple days ago. It's so dumb. It's so bad. The guy who plays young Superman when he's growing up on the farm, I don't know what it is about his face, but I just want to punch it. The best parts of that movie to me is when you have Clark Kent with Lois, and he's always doing a little wry smile behind her back.
And Lois Lane, that's Margot Kidder, right? In these movies.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's fun, and the movie, there's so much setting up Superman. It starts on Krypton. Marlon Brando's plays Jor-El,
right?
So there's a lot leading up before you even get to Superman in the tights and the cape, and so it's a long ways until you get to see Gene Hackman finally. In this underground layer under Metropolis. But he plays such a fun role. I mean, again, like I say, he's an evil, mastermind. He's going to blow up the San Andreas Fault so that California falls into the ocean, and he's bought all the land east of the San Andreas Fault. So now that's all going to be, oceanfront property. And he's going to make billions and billions of dollars.
Arizona.
Right. So it's so dumb. It's
okay.
I don't think it really holds up. I mean, nowadays we've got superhero movies on top of superhero movies.
You know what? I might like it more because I get so tired of the new ones and they're so serious all the time. So, if I watch that for the first time now, I might actually find it really endearing and like it. So it's
very campy. So that you may like. I mean, there's funny stuff.
Gordon, right?
No, not as bad as Flash Gordon.
When you bring up that it's not very good and it's campy, it's still not even in the league of Flash Gordon.
No, not even close. So I would say, I mean, and for the time, I mean, the effects were amazing. But the whole idea of, there's the big disaster, Lois dies, and in order to fix all of this, he just flies around the Earth and makes it spin the other way to reverse time. And it's cool. Like, that's not the way things work. Like, so
it's not the way things work.
It's just kind of, crazy that way. But I mean, for the time it was huge, and I loved him as the Lex Luthor role. I think, watching it back, that was one of the other best parts of the movie was all of his stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm drawn to watch it some days because of Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando too. Because I've not seen a ton of Marlon Brando movies, so it's like
sure
to see one like that.
And he's very statesman-like in this. He's got the white hair, and he's Jor-El. He's a great scientist and everything. but he's just in the beginning, right? Right before Krypton explodes. Spoiler alert, by the way. So.
All right, so he did work through the 80s, but a lot of movies he was doing from the early 80s, probably ones we didn't know or aren't very familiar with. So we're going to skip ahead to Hoosiers now.
Yep.
In 1986. And so this is one of my all-time favorite sports movies. And because this is like our Gene Hackman movie, we're going to have a draft related to our subject each time. And so our draft tonight's going to be sports movies, which I think is going to be a lot of fun, of course, because we love those movies. But it's a great choice because it's when I think of Gene Hackman, it's the first thing I think of.
Right.
So I do remember the first time I saw Hoosiers. I don't know if we were there for a special reason or anything, but we were in Sioux Falls at my cousin's house. And I remember going to the theater with at least some of my cousins, like for sure my cousin and my brother, I'm sure, but I feel like a lot of us went and saw Hoosiers that night. And so this was 86. So in 1986, what happened to our fifth graders, Gifford?
To our fifth graders?
What did I meet you in 86?
Yes, we
did.
We met in 86 in Ruthven in Myers Massacre class.
Yeah, so 86, 87 was our fifth grade year. And we were pairing with a third school, but not all the way yet. Only the fifth grade and like the second grade, I think. It was like there was a trial run of some things. And so we got to go a year early. But the next year, the first year that we were RTR, Russell, Tyler, Ruthven, all three towns combined, we had just this amazing basketball team. And so we're a tiny school. So my brother graduated in 87 with a class of 37 kids. And so it grew a little bit the next year, but we were still this small school. In our class was only like 55, 60 kids. So 7 years later. But we had this rare thing down there where we had a 6'11" guy. We had a 6'8" or 6'8" guy, I think, Smallkern, and a 6'6" guy.
6'6", yep. 6'5", 6'4".
We had this height that you just don't have in these little farming communities all at once. Like, you might have a random person here and there. But we had, like, the towers. We were like Hakeem and Ralph Sampson on the Rockets. Yeah. And that team was amazing. And the first year, the thing that brought our schools together so much is that this team lost one game during the regular season, went to the state championship, and guess what? We played a city school when we got to the state championship, with guys that weren't all white like we were. It was just like the movie. Unfortunately, they kicked the team's ass. And so we didn't get the championship there. But, like, we're living that. We're driving from town to town. We're so excited. Everybody is so excited about this. So the scenes of this movie in the old gyms, Jimmy Chitwood, Dennis Hopper, Gene Hackman holding everything together. Like, you could see that going around everywhere we went. We played our section or regional games in the Montevideo gym, which was like this totally cool, old school gym where you're on top of the floor. And it was just like, it was straight out of the movie. It was just so cool. And so that all happened 1 year after Hoosiers came out. So, I mean, we watched it, we loved it, and then we lived it.
Well, and I would like to point out for our fans from Ballatin is a single school, even smaller than our conglomerate put together.
True.
And that was the one loss, right? We lost to Ballatin
by 1 point. No, we beat them by one in the district championship. The regular season game, they won by a few points.
Yep, that team was amazing too. So to have
these two teams,
that were that good. Yep, and of course they all said that they would have went on and won the state championship.
No, they wouldn't.
Right. But I mean that they had a phenomenal team as well that first year.
But that's what made it cool too, is that that's the only game that RTR lost. But you had like this built-in rival for that year too. Like, we hated them, and
to push you to get better.
That first game where they beat us was so close and hard fought. It's like, oh my God, we actually lost. How could that happen? And then the rematch to go into the the playoffs was just like, man, that was just straight out of the movies. It was amazing.
Yep, it was. Yeah, so we definitely associated with it. My guess is the first time I saw it was on VHS. A couple years after that. But again, like I say, I would have been watching it after we went to state. So I already had the real world experience, and then watching. And of course, it's such a great theme, right? Like it's David versus Goliath. It's, the very typical coach movie, got to break everybody down. Everybody hates him in the beginning, including the townsfolk, and they all think he's a pile and they're going to run him out of town. And then, everybody sticks with him. And he takes them all the way to the state championship. And two things that I always think about when I think of this movie, well, three, I guess. One, when they go to the state championship and he has them measure the hoop.
Oh, yeah.
And the distance from the hoop to the free throw line.
Measurements back home in Hickory.
Oh, just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, I love it in Ted Lasso, where he tries to do the same thing in Wembley.
And he finds out that's not the case in England on the pitches.
Not only is this one bigger, but it's not the one that had,
it's the wrong Wembley.
Huge concert. Yeah, that was awesome. I think of Dennis Hopper, and like him coming out on the court, barging out drunk out of his mind. I read a thing recently that when he was getting ready for that scene, he just told the director just to yell action. And before that, he spun himself around over and over and over to make himself dizzy. And then they said action, and he starts stumbling out onto the court. And then go ahead.
You just pull for him so much. And there's that game where Gene Hackman gets kicked out on purpose. And he's left sitting there to try to run the team. And man, he is so good. And I'm double checking it. I'm sure I'm right. And maybe you already know, but he was nominated for an Oscar, right? Dennis Hopper was for Best Supporting Actor.
See here. Let me look.
Yes. Go ahead. I'm looking it up. You talk.
The last thing is, he said it in the locker room. He was
nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, and he should have been. Absolutely amazing.
Yes.
The last thing, and it was kind of he did it during the movie, but then at the end, it's kind of a voiceover, and just that, I love you guys. Him talking to his team in the lock, because he's such a hard ass, right? Like, he told Jimmy, you want to play, you play. If not, I don't care. Like, you do whatever you're going to do. Like, he's such a hard ass. But, that moment when the coach, levels with his players and really lets them know how much he cares. Yeah. I always think of that.
And then Dennis Hopper in the hospital at the end. Oh, my God, it's so good.
Jumping around.
The only thing that movie could have done is had a little bit less of the Barbara Hershey story scenes to kind of drag it down.
Yep. Yeah, a little bit. I agree.
All right. So then he did a movie that I've seen a long time ago. Another one I would love to watch if I had more time. Again, No Way Out with Kevin Costner in 1987. I remember that being a really, really good movie. But then we mentioned Mississippi Burning in 88. So that was nominated for 7 Oscars, including Gene Hackman and Frances McDormand. It won 1 Oscar for cinematography. So I had nothing to do with this planning. I just watched it on my own about probably 4 months ago. It's just a fantastic story. So Willem Dafoe was the other character, and they are like, oh my God, partners. And they're looking into these
civil
things
rights
that are happening in the southern town. People getting killed, bad things happening to black people. It's back, it's during the civil rights area in Mississippi. And Hackman just plays, he's such a cool guy. He just plays, he's always cool. He's always under control. He's the one who knows kind of how to work the people and when to push them and when not, whereas Willem Dafoe gets really worked up because, he's going to make a difference and he's going to turn this around, but it doesn't work that way. But then there's a scene where Gene Hackman, when he needs to be, he will just be the biggest asshole. And it makes you so mad watching this movie, and it's so intense, and he is awesome. And I just, any of these civil rights movies like that, when they're done right, like this one, I just love them because you just can't even believe that this stuff, was and is maybe still happening. It's just crazy.
Right. Yeah, I need to put that on my list. I have never watched Mississippi Burning. I think
you definitely should watch that movie.
I'll watch that one after I'm done rewatching The Firm again.
All right, then we'll jump ahead, I think, to Unforgiven in 1992. So I thought about watching this one again, but I didn't. It was a longer one, so I went with The Firm instead. Well, that was actually really long. But I do remember seeing Unforgiven in the movie theater. Probably maybe with you. I went with friends. I know that. I don't remember a lot about this movie. I mean, obviously it's a Western. It's really good. It's one that I would like to watch again, but I just don't have a lot of memory of it. And because it's a long Western, it's like, when you sit, it's like there's so many things you could watch. And it's like, well, even if you know it's going to be really good, it's kind of like, it feels like such an investment. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's a bit of a slog.
Someday I'd like to watch it, but, I know it's good. I saw it and I loved it back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember going to the theater for that one.
All right. The Firm. I remember seeing that in Sioux Falls in the movie theater. I saw, we went to movies all the time.
All the time.
So I watched this recently, like a week, 2 weeks ago. He's Tom Cruise's mentor in this movie at this kind of weird law firm where it sounds like this great job he's getting, but then, you start to see under the scenes what's going on. And it's such a cool role again, because he's like a bad guy. Like, he's not a really good guy, but he's kind of this happy-go-lucky, like, you like him.
Yep.
And you can tell that really he's not an evil person, and he actually proves it at the end.
Yep.
He's caught up in this thing where, he goes along with it, and that's not good, but he's not inherently bad. So he gets mixed up in it. He doesn't want to really be bad, and he does actually help out Tom Cruise and his wife at the end. Mm-hmm. He is a serial cheater. Right. He's got a lot of bad character traits, but he's a major reason why that movie worked and why I really enjoyed watching it again. Unfortunately, I had commercials, and it took me almost 3 hours to watch it. That was an investment, but it's really good.
It's really good. Well, and the soundtrack's all just piano.
Yeah, like, that's cool soundtrack.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, phenomenal film. I mean, obviously, a Tom Cruise vehicle ultimately, but he plays such a titular part. Like you say, very complex character. And, he just plays it with such ease. There's never anything difficult for him. It's just such a great role. And like I say, I'm about, a third of the way through it last night. So, I'll get, I'll finish it off later, but it's really just a great film.
You got some really good Tom Cruise running in this movie too.
There's always a lot of Tom Cruise running
ways.
I
always think of it being more Mission Impossible, but man, it goes back a long ways.
Yeah. Kicking Impossible.
All right.
Yeah.
Crimson Tide then. So you have, it's like to me, it's like this trifecta of movies. You got Unforgiven, The Firm, and then Crimson Tide.
Yep.
So actually, this is from 95. So we were in college when this came out, freshman year. But I remember going to this in movie theater too. We were all home. Might have been with you. I don't know. This is another one. I don't remember it very well. I've actually had it on my list to rewatch for months. Partially because of our friends at Totally 80s and 90s Recall, who did an episode on it. But it's another one I just feel like an investment, and I haven't got around to watching it. But I know it's great, and he's awesome.
It's not on anything. That's problem.
Another problem then.
You gotta actually rent the movie or buy the movie. But oh my God, the scenes between him and Denzel, and it's not necessarily that there's one guy that's evil and one guy that's good. It's just this is the way things work, and it's all gut reaction, right? Like,
dick measuring contest.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's it's also like, holy shit, are we gonna frickin' nuke the world? It's such an intense movie, absolutely phenomenal. Just even the way it's shot, like everything's always dark, and you got the red light just constantly there, and it's just danger everywhere, right? Like, and it's so well done. Two actors at their peak between him and Denzel. Yeah.
That's one I'll get around to someday again. So that's a big year, 95, because then he also did Get Shorty, which, I was really excited for Get Shorty. John Travolta coming off the comeback of Pulp Fiction. You got this great cast. But, I watched it once and I really was disappointed in it. So I don't have much to say other than it didn't hit me like I thought it would. But it was a big movie with a great cast.
Yeah, I just got done with that one too. I like that movie. I really do, because it's a little bit of a
maybe I like it more now.
You've got it, you've got all these moving parts, and Travolta's character is kind of playing all sides, and I think it's just really well done. I love how he sets it up at the end, and I love Dennis Farina. I think anything he's in, he is
Out of Sight.
Awesome, right?
I do too. He's great.
He is so wonderful, and like he was in some Guy Ritchie movies. that he was awesome in. So I like him in that. The cast is great. I mean, you got DeVito, Rene Russo, Travolta, Hackman, um, uh, James Gandolfini is in it.
Yeah.
Uncle Rico is in it.
Oh, is he in it too?
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's such a great cast, and I like the story. So, and again, this is where he's playing more of a comedic role as well. I mean, he's a kind of a B movie producer, horror.
Right, I remember that now.
Harry Zim, who thinks he's kind of knows everything, but everything kind of goes sideways for every character in this except for Chili Palmer. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's a really fun movie. Again, he's not the main character. That's John Travolta, but he does a phenomenal job in it.
Mm-hmm. All right. In '96, then he did The Birdcage, and I know you like that movie, so I don't.
Yep.
That's another one I saw. It was good, but I don't really remember it very well. But you might have something to say about The Birdcage.
Yeah, I mean, first off, again, he's not the main character. You got Nathan Lane and you got Robin Williams are your two big characters,
right.
And Robin Williams is, oh my God, so great. And Hackman plays a senator whose his daughter is dating the guy who's, I think, the son of, is it Nathan Lane? Yeah, I think it's Nathan Lane, and of course Nathan Lane's gay, along with Robin Williams. So it's this whole fish out of water clash of cultures thing. And in the end, Gene Hackman dresses in drag in order to escape, the theater, and just goes right into it, and it's a lot of fun. Again, he's not the main guy. I think he got second billing in the movie, but again, a comedic role for him that we see, and it's a fun movie. Robin Williams, you can't really go wrong in this. In anything he does. So great. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. And if that's not enough in the 90s, then we go to 1998 and he pairs up with pre-slap Will Smith when he's becoming one of the biggest stars on the planet for Enemy of the State. Another one, I saw this in the movie theater. I loved this movie. I remember loving this movie, but I don't think I've ever seen it since. It's another one I'd love to watch again. Doing these retrospective things, it's hard because there's so many of these movies you want to watch and you just don't have time. But I mean, of all the movies on this list, that seems like one of the more underrated ones that I feel like people maybe don't remember or think of a lot, but it was fantastic.
Well, yeah, and he's plays the guy who he's the conspiracy guy. He knows things that are happening, and Will Smith his eyes are being opened to all of this craziness that the government is putting upon him. And he's kind of the mentor in that role, kind of opening Will Smith's eyes to everything. So great role again, fun movie, a lot of cat and mouse, of course. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I remember going to see this one in the theater.
Yeah, and then a couple more here. So he did kind of finish his career a little more in the comedic realm. So he paired up with Keanu Reeves in 2000 and did The Replacements, the football movie. Another one, I think I've only seen it one time. I don't know that I loved it, but I see a lot of people talk about it. Like, it's one of those movies that I think has gained more of like a status or a cult status over the years. Like, they think it's actually really good or really funny. So, again, if I had the time, probably go back and watch that one again someday. But wasn't one of my favorites when it came out.
Well, you got Faison Love in it. We love him, of course, from Elf.
Yes.
And Orlando Jones. 6-inch curls. Yeah. So, yeah, and again, I mean, Keanu Reeves is huge, at this point, so it's going to get...
Matrix is out at this time, so...
Right. So it's going to get a lot of play, and I did enjoy it. I thought it was good.
Okay, the last one I have down then is Heartbreakers, which we already alluded to. We have a whole episode on that one, actually. You could go back and listen. I will say that when that came out, that was a big surprise. Like, I'm like, okay, this would be kind of dumb or whatever. But I loved that movie when it came out, just like you did.
Yep.
And maybe it didn't age as well watching it later, but it still has Jennifer Love Hewitt in it and prime Jennifer Love Hewitt. So you got that going for it. And some hilarious Gene Hackman acting.
Yes.
Like whether the movie's that great or that good, he commits to it, and for the last movie that I have that we're going to talk about, I mean, it's a great performance.
Well, and you've got, Nora Dunn's in it too as the maid, the house, basically is in charge of his house, and she's awesome in it.
Well, but Sigourney Weaver, if you're going to get into the cast, she's the other big character.
Jason Lee, love Jason Lee, and of course Ray Liotta. I've talked a couple times on here how I'm a huge fan of the movie Clueless. One of the reasons is the wardrobe person, I believe, deserves an Oscar. Same in this movie with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yes.
She looked absolutely wonderful.
And she's supposed to. That's her role. She's playing a person who's supposed to be like trying to trap and trick men.
She's the eye candy.
She can do.
Yes. I could only be so lucky. Of course, you're not going to talk about Royal Tenenbaums, I suppose.
No, I'm going to stop there because, Wes Anderson and me, we're not a thing. But if you want to go ahead, you go ahead.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. It's one of those Wes Anderson movies that I have watched more than once. And he is great in it. I mean, he cares about his family, even though he's just this sleazy con man. But he plays it with a lot of heart, and that's just fun to see. Wes Anderson movies, I mean, they demand a certain audience. You got to just kind of go whatever and see what goofy stuff he's going to put together. I enjoyed Behind Enemy Lines. I thought that was fun. He's kind of the guy.
I don't think I've seen that one, so that's why I left it off.
Okay, yeah, and that's Owen Wilson is a downed pilot behind enemy lines, and Gene Hackman is
Wilson, really?
Yeah. Huh. Imagine that guy crashes an airplane. Weird. But Gene Hackman's kind of his superior officer who's in constant contact with him to try to get him out of it. And I haven't watched it in years, but I remember enjoying it. So, and then there's only two more after Runaway Jury. He finally got to be in a movie with Hoffman.
I read that
roommate.
Too. I haven't seen that one.
And then, of course, Welcome to Mooseport is his final acting gig. From there, he did retire and go into writing novels. So
I do have one more credit that I want to mention. It's not a movie.
Yep.
So there's, I love the history of the NFL. And so on the NFL Network, they had a show called America's Game. I don't know if you ever saw any of those, but it's like hour-long, like retrospectives of all the Super Bowl winning teams. And then they did teams that didn't win a ring. Like there's one on the 98 Vikings. They are amazingly well done. They are like so awesome. But he narrated 4 of those episodes. And so I wanted to throw that in there because now that I read that, I remember, you could recognize his voice doing a few of those. And so I would highly recommend, if you like to go back and watch old football stuff, America's Game is about as good as it gets.
Okay. I do have one other fun fact. I read this and I couldn't confirm it elsewhere, but supposedly he did turn down the role of Mike Brady.
Oh, I think I've yes.
So his agent warned him off of it because they were thinking more movies, and of course, if you get into a television show now, you're kind of locked in, harder to do a lot of movies. So he did turn that down, and one of the things I also read was that from 1985 to 1988, he was in 9 films, which tied him as the busiest actor of the time with Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, yes, I did read that. Steve Guttenberg. I knew that.
So I usually think Steve Guttenberg, Gene Hackman. I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
I'm so glad. What a way to end it, the Mike Brady thing, because that did not come up when I was doing any of this, but I've heard it because I listened to the podcast, and maybe it came up there with the Greg and Peter podcast, or wherever I've heard it. I don't know, but I knew that he could have been Mike Brady, and that's just mind blowing, and what a difference that would have been.
Yeah, but you see the stuff again. Everything he does is kind of effortless. He does it so well, and later in his career with the comedy, like you could see him doing Mike Brady, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
he would have pulled that off.
Why not?
Well within his range. So
did I bring up on the show about my opportunity that I'm going to get coming up to the Brady Bunch house yet?
Oh, I can't remember if you did that on the show or if you just told me about it.
Me neither. So I'm going to bring it up again, and it's worth it. So this is great that you brought it up. I wanted to do it at the beginning of an episode because it's such big news. I'm so excited about it. But in February, I'm going with my siblings and my brother-in-law, and we are flying to LA. And I am going to tour the Brady Bunch house that they renovated to the actual house that they shot from the outside, which is nothing like the house on the set inside. But if you watch the HGTV show a few years ago, they bought that house, they renovated it, made it look exactly like the Brady Bunch house. They even went back and like searched the country and found artifacts and things that were on the show that people had found or sold. And I get to spend an hour and a half walking through there. And it is going to be one of the most exciting things that's ever happened in my life. And I cannot wait.
Yes.
So if I already brought that up, I might bring it up about 10 more times. And when I'm done, we'll do a whole episode on my experience. So there you go.
About 10 times.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Excellent.
So we mentioned earlier, we are going to draft our favorite sports movies tonight in honor of Hoosiers being pretty much our number one Gene Hackman movie out there. And I'm going to draft first, followed by Gifford, and then we'll put together a third list too. This is really hard. Like I couldn't care less about having the first pick because I don't know which direction to go. So I'm just going to go with, one of my all-time favorite movies, my all-time favorite sport. I'm going to take Caddyshack because it's number one on my list. There's other things I could have gone different directions, but I got to take Caddyshack.
That's a solid pick. I was wondering about putting it on, and because there's a lot else going on, but it's about caddies, it's about golf, and if you want to win a draft, you put Caddyshack as your number one.
And I think that when I look at sports movies, like the sport has to really be featured, and it is. Like there's a lot of golf in here.
Yeah,
and the whole end scene is revolving around a golf match. There's some movies that you could call a sports movie where there really isn't a lot of the actual sport, but it is.
Right. Yep. Solid first pick. So I wrestled with my number one overall. I didn't have Caddyshack as my number one overall, but I think I'm going to take didn't.
Okay.
So I still have my top two picks, and I'm really still struggling with it, but I think I'm just going to go with Major League.
That's what I was going to predict you would pick.
I love it so much. I love the whole thing, and then about a third of the way into the movie, Euchre comes in, and it just kicks it up even higher. I think it's just awesome.
All right. Well, then I'm going to get my second overall, and the reason I was going to pick this one maybe because it's more of a movie, but I didn't think you'd pick it right away, so that's why I picked Caddyshack. I'm going with The Karate Kid.
Okay.
Maybe one of my top 2-3 favorite '80s movies of all time, and there's enough to say. Almost every movie that we're probably going to pick here, all three so far, we've got episodes on, and we've sung the praises of these movies on our show, and The Karate Kid is one of the most perfect movies ever made.
Yeah, sweep the leg. Awesome. Now I'm going to get my number 2 overall pick as well. I'm staying in the same stadium here. I'm going Bull Durham. Again, another movie that we've covered. I love it. I love all the things that Crash believes in. And it's just great. I love Kevin Costner in this role. Nuke is great. The manager's great. All the interplay between Crash and Nuke and Crash and the batters, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. All right, well then my number 3 was Major League, and my number 5 was Bull Durham actually. And then my number 4 though is going to be Hoosiers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Hoosiers. We just talked about it 10 minutes ago. Enough said there.
Excellent.
Give you every reason in the world why I would pick that just recently.
It's amazing how many great movies aren't going to get picked in the top 10 here.
Oh, I know this is tough. I got
Yeah.
27 listed here, and I could have had more, but
Oh, I didn't even count how many of that listed. All right. Well, I think I'm going to skip my next one because I don't think you'll take it. I think I can get it with my last pick. Wait, how many picks are we in here?
this is your third pick.
This is my third pick. Okay, so I am gonna. You went Caddyshack with your first, and I'm gonna go golf with my next pick here.
Tin Cup.
I'm going Tin Cup.
Yeah.
Again, Kevin Costner in these two roles as Bull Durham and in Tin Cup are so phenomenal. Crash Davis and Roy McAvoy are two of my favorite sports characters of all time, and
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, now this is tough because I could go lots of ways here. I'm going to stick with Kevin. No, God.
Oh,
I'm between baseball movies and a couple others on top of that. It's really tough. Okay, I've watched this one more times, so I'm going to stick with Kevin Costner and pick Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, yep.
And I better get Rob's vote because after the stink he put up on his show about that getting knocked off,
Yep.
that better give me his vote.
All right, Rob, we're counting on you. All right, now I'm kind of torn here. I still have the one that you're not going to pick, so I'm going to wait for my fifth one on that. So what do I take fourth? Yeah, I think I'm going to go. I think I'll take. Which one should I take? I'm going to take Rocky.
Okay.
I think the one that I love the most because it's all montage is the fourth one.
Not going with Rocky. Going with Rocky 4.
Yeah, I'm not going with the Oscar winner. I'm going Rocky 4 just because, I mean, as a kid growing up, like nothing pumped you up more than all the montage scenes. And then, I mean, it's ridiculousness, that final bout. I mean, you've already seen a guy get killed in the ring. And the punishment that Rocky and Drago put on each other, they both should have been dead in the first round. So I'm going Rocky 4.
Well, that's fitting. So we went from Tin Cup, Kevin Costner to Field of Dreams. Now we're going from Rocky boxing to my favorite boxing movie of all time. A little more recent, but this is one of the best movies of the last 20 years. With one of the best performances by Christian Bale of the last 20 years, The Fighter. That movie is that might be the best movie that we've mentioned so far as movie.
Sure.
It's awesome.
Yep. It's a good one. All right. Well, I'm going to take this one fifth. I knew you wouldn't take it. I love this movie to no end. I don't know how many times I've watched it.
Do we have an episode on it?
I don't think we do.
Oh, okay. Then it's not what I think you're going to pick.
I don't think we do. It is a movie about the greatest U.S. team ever assembled, and that is Miracle.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you were going to pick Varsity Blues. I can't believe you didn't pick Varsity Blues in your top 5.
I got it in here, but I did not pick it. Varsity Blues is good, and I've watched it. I watched it again not that long ago. I mean, it's still entertaining as hell, but man, it's so dumb. But I mean,
that's what makes it great.
Yeah, that's true. Tweeter is great. I love Tweeter. And of course, whipped cream bikinis on Allie Larder are always welcome. So,
all right. Well, now we're going to pick our third leftover list.
Yep.
And it's going to be a good one.
Yes.
So this is great. I'm glad I didn't pick this movie. I was between Field of Dreams and The Natural. Pete, this list is for Pete.
Yep.
I think Pete's number 1 overall pick might have been The Natural if he were with us.
It should have. Yeah, it would have been.
So Pete's getting The Natural as the number 1. Dun 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 dun.
I'm going to take one
of the greatest closing scenes ever.
Yeah, it is. Well, I don't know. Major League still.
I said one of.
Yeah, Major League still ahead of The Natural for me. I think this is one that Pete also really, really loves, so I want to put it, take it for him here. That's Remember the Titans.
Okay.
I think he's talked about that one a few times.
I actually don't know, but I'm sure he likes it. Who doesn't like it? It's a great movie.
So good.
All right. Well, if we go kind of the way my list is, I'm going to go with Happy Gilmore next.
Okay.
Now, personally, I know you're not going to agree, but if I was picking my own list, I might pick Happy Gilmore too. Because
I was wondering if you
I
put
just
that.
loved it so much. I thought
I'm
it was
assuming
so
it's on
well
your
done.
list.
Yeah, I just have them both listed together, 1 and 2.
Okay.
And I love 1 too. I mean, don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
it's that kind of movie where you didn't know what to expect, and it was good. It was everything I would have wanted.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it, you just don't get it.
You just don't get it. And I don't know. I like John Daly was in it. That was awesome. And living with him, that was great. When I think of sports and I think of Pete's story in sports is that of an underdog story.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Dodgeball.
Oh, okay.
For Pete, because that is an underdog story.
All right. Well, I'm going to pick another movie that I know Pete loves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more than just sports, but it's definitely basketball centered. And our friends at the Surely You Can't Be Serious just talked about it. I'm going to give Pete Teen Wolf.
There you go. Yeah, Courtney asked if I should have Teen Wolf on my list. I was like, yeah, I guess. But
just don't get yourself in a card game with a guy named after a state.
Exactly.
Or is it a city? Did I get that wrong? It's a city.
Well, you got Cincinnati.
It's like Denver and Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
I think I blew it.
That's okay. That's all right. Well, there's so much left.
I know. Can I start with a one that I have ranked very, very high? And I the first time I watched it, I was blown away by how good it was. Then I watched it with my wife and my son, who do not like sports, but they liked the movie. And then I watched it again recently. I think I've seen it 3 times. And I think I got you to watch it. It's Champions with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
You watched
You're
it, right?
homie with another chromie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it on my list.
That movie, if you've never seen Champions, oh my God, it is amazingly good. It's so heartwarming and it's so funny, and the characters are real people with Down syndrome playing these roles, and they are fantastic. It's so
amazing.
Good.
Yep. I concur.
I want to start there. We mentioned Varsity Blues. So here's one that I don't know if it should count as a sports movie necessarily, because there is a lot of sports in it, but I feel like it focuses more on parts out of it. So Jerry Maguire I have on my list.
Yep.
And there's a big, there's football scenes, but I feel like you could maybe argue it's not a sports movie, whatever.
It's still sports centric.
It's so much in the sports world, though, right?
Yeah.
Talking because it's about agents.
Sports agent, and show me the money for crying out. I mean, human head weighs 8 pounds.
We got an episode on Kingpin. We love Kingpin here.
Yes, got that on the list.
Deeper. I've only ever watched it once, but 1980 Best Picture, Robert De Niro, Raging Bull. I mean, you got to mention Raging Bull.
Yep.
The Sandlot. I mean, that's not even in the conversation. And Sandlot's great. We all love it.
Yes.
You brought up recently White Men Can't Jump. Got to bring that one up.
Got to bring that one up.
Okay, it's kind of like Jerry Maguire, I guess, but Moneyball is another one where there's not a lot of sports in it, but it's all about sports still.
It's all about the baseball.
I know. I'm just saying.
I like it on my list.
When I think of sports movies, I think more of like sports action. But
yes,
it's on every.
There's some good action in there. I wish they would have told the audience who beat
Tell us
that
more about
team.
the Twins. Yeah,
that was another small market team that took them out of those playoffs. It wasn't
it was almost contracted.
Yep.
In fact, our story's better. We were almost contracted by the league by our own owner, and we came back. And that's a better story. Thank you very much.
Yep, beat them in 5 games in the divisional round. That's right.
All right, a movie I just saw in the movie theater this summer. Didn't know if I'd like it. My son kind of wanted to go, which I was surprised because I didn't think he'd like it. It's about car racing. The movie F1 with Brad Pitt was fantastic.
Oh my God! Yes,
you saw it?
I didn't put that down.
Oh my God, I was so entertained, beginning to end. I couldn't believe how much I liked that movie.
I went to that movie in the movie theater. I don't go to the movie theater.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. I know.
Oh, it's so good. And Brad Pitt, come on. He's
great.
Awesome. Yeah. He's awesome.
My wife and I just recently watched The Cutting Edge because she wanted to watch it. That's a fun one.
I just rewatched that maybe a month and a half ago.
Did you really? It was just a few months ago we watched it.
Toe pick.
Same sport. Margot Robbie playing Tanya Harding. I, Tanya.
I, Tanya.
Fantastic movie. Another Oscar-winning movie with Allison Janney.
Yep.
Bring It On. We got to mention Bring It On.
Cheerleading I only have one left. According to my wife.
The last one I want to mention, it's a really good movie, but I was, I was a cross-country coach. I ran marathons. So another Kevin Costner movie, McFarland USA, is a great story, a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could have written so many more down.
Yeah.
And every one of those is a top-notch movie that I could watch every day.
Yep. Yeah, there's a ton here. So I got Balls of Fury.
Yeah, you like that one.
I like that one. Win-Win. I believe Paul Giamatti. It's a wrestling movie. That was fun. Of course, like you say, there's a ton of wrestling movies. The Wrestler, Foxcatcher. I'm going to put race. You put F1 in. I'm putting Talladega Nights.
Oh yeah, we just did that one on our show too, and I like that better than I thought. So that's a good one. We
sure did. Another one we also covered, A League of Their Own.
Yeah,
love that.
I didn't even have that down.
Gonna go give the wife the old pickle, or tickle. That's what it is. And then I'm gonna finish up with some more hockey here. I got Slapshot, Mystery Alaska, and Youngblood.
Yeah.
So
A Mystery Alaska, I like that one. I never saw Youngblood. I remember that being on TV when I was younger, thinking it was like R-rated and I couldn't watch it. But
there's some, it's about minor league hockey,
which is funny because hockey. I watched every other R-rated movie in the 80s and saw everything. But for some reason, that one I didn't get to and couldn't watch.
Well, and I didn't get to it for years, and then I watched it probably for the first time. Maybe 4 years ago was the first time I watched it. I mean, hockey for us growing up wasn't in our mindset. Like it
still
just
isn't really for me, but
it is for me now. And sure we have our first game of the season tomorrow night, so we'll see how it goes. So, yeah.
Ooh, well, that was really fun. I like that one.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Hackman, just a stalwart of his time, his era. And yeah, I mean, span, like you said, four decades, I believe. And just awesome. Whether you're talking leading role, supporting role, comedy, drama. I mean, he covered it all.
All right. So next week we're going to get into Diane Keaton, which, it'll be a little harder for us. We know a lot of Diane Keaton movies, but probably not as well as Gene Hackman. But I watched a couple here recently, and she's done a lot of really good movies, and she's actually pretty great.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good one again, and I'm really excited about our draft for that one. So
I am too.
Her most famous movie, maybe winning the Oscar, setting all kinds of trends, is Annie Hall. So we're going to draft movies named after a character, where just the whole title of the movie is a character's name, like Annie Hall. I love that idea. I'm giving myself a pat on the back for that one.
Well, and
because there's a lot of them out there. There's a ton.
There's a ton. And I gave Pete a hard time one time for drafting the same thing 2 years in a row. Like I think there was a song he drafted one year in the wrong year, and then when we did that year. So I picked Rocky 4 tonight. I may pick Rocky again next week. We'll just have to see how that goes.
That's true. Or you could go with Rocky Balboa. That might be.
Yep. I could go with Creed.
That's the full name title.
Yep. I could. So there's a lot to choose from there. So I'm looking forward to digging into it a little bit more and finding the ones that speak to me. And as Brad said, it can only be the character's name as the title. So When Harry Met Sally.
Like When Harry Met Sally doesn't count. There's
Debbie Does Dallas.
Plenty of two-word name characters that we can find.
Yep. So it's gonna be a good one.
All right.
So hey Brad.
Hey, what?
Hey, who was the busiest band from 1998 to 1999 at the Turf Club?
Well, that would be Preacher Row, fronted by Steve Guttenberg.
He was busy then, too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Tune in next week. Bye.